Welcome to the MAG Network Podcast.
Hello everybody and welcome to this next edition of the MAG Network Podcast. We're recording this on Monday the 5th of June, and today with me I've got Martyn Boyd from Northern Ireland. Martyn, do you just want to do a quick introduction for yourself?
Hello everyone, I'm Martyn Boyd. I'm the Northern Ireland rep for Motorcycle Action Group.
Excellent. Well, obviously you're quite a well-known figure these days after your recent appearances on the Nolan show on the BBC Northern Ireland. But what's the subject that you wanted to take up today? Because I know it's not potholes this time, is it? You've got another burning issue that you want to talk about.
No, it's not potholes. And in between trying to find an agent for all my media bookings. No, the issue is one that actually has been covered nationally by Motorcycle News, and hopefully maybe mentioned in some form on the road in the next issue. It's about insurance, and not in general insurance for motorcyclists, but insurance for motorcycle training schools. I was made aware by a local motorcycle training school owner back in February that his insurer was quitting the market in Northern Ireland for insuring motorcycle training schools and leaving him high and dry. He has actually had to close his business. And very shortly after that, I was made aware of another larger motorcycle training school with several branches across the province in the same predicament from the same insurer. And they were going to have to be closing by Tuesday this next week because their insurance policy was not being renewed and the insurer was quitting that market in Northern Ireland. I did some checking and discovered that there were only about 2 actual underwriters who provided insurance for motorcycle training schools, yet there were maybe 4 or 5 brokers. And it turns out that one of the previous independent, if you like, underwriters, LV Insurance, had been bought out by Allianz. And what they're doing with customers who are with LV Insurance, they're still servicing those insurance policies, but they will not allow any major changes, and they will not take on any new business for the insurance of motorcycle training schools or motorcycle instructors. Some of the bigger schools, some of the more long-established schools here are okay in that regard. They've still got insurance and they will still be reinsured. But if they wanted to sell the business, there wouldn't be any insurance provided.
So I think this is a subject that I don't think has probably got quite as much profile as the recent issues with the racing insurance. But I think it's one that it's safe to say that whilst it may not have a major immediate impact, over a period of time, this is going to strangle motorcycling in Northern Ireland, because there's going to be no way that training schools are going to remain viable, are they?
Well, yeah, you're absolutely right. And I have written a letter to Open Road about this, and I've used the phrase motorcycling is being murdered in its cradle, and it literally is. The training school that has had to close, it was a 2-person train. It was run by one man, but he had another instructor with him. But he was very popular. He was a very good instructor and had quite a lot of bookings. And he's lost all that business. He's had to disappoint all of those students, which included my wife. The other training school close by, they have 12 instructors. Now, because of the representations that I have made and that MAG has made, they have had a little bit of a breakthrough with regard to their insurance company, which is Allianz. The company has said that they won't cancel their policy as from Tuesday. They will continue the policy. but they will only cover 2 instructors and only 6 of their 12 school bikes, and not allow any changes whatsoever, including if a school bike needs to go off to get fixed, they can't, replace it with another one. It's just crazy. It does, however, mean that they can continue in business to a degree.
Have you been able to establish any sort of motivation for them?
Well, the insurers will not directly speak with people like me, and they will only speak with brokers. But the only reason that they give brokers is that they are not increasing their risk. Basically, they're pulling out of that particular insurance market in Northern Ireland because it's not lucrative enough for them. Having said that, but I'm not an insurance business person, but there are over 30 motorcycle training schools here. And according to the DVA register, 528 registered approved motorcycle instructors. Lots of them work independently. I know of a couple who work independently. One, well, he was planning to retire. He's just brought that plan forward because of this. The other one, he's looking to find other work. You know, so just because it's not lucrative enough, they're pulling out. And I kind of wonder. The other reason that they also give is that the risk factor in Northern Ireland is greater than it is in the rest of the UK. Now, we know that in general terms of motorcycling collisions, Northern Ireland does have a higher incident rate than most of the rest of GB. I don't know how that translates through to like on-road incidents with training schools. We also have a different system for settling claims than you do have in GB. Our system, I don't know how to technically describe it, but it tends to make larger awards for injuries than the system you have in GB. But I then sort of think, well, why doesn't the insurance company factor that into the price that they quote? If it means a training.
So, I mean, obviously, I know that you approached Ian Paisley MP because he actually mentioned the fact that he was going to be looking into this issue when I did my interview with him for about how to go about writing to your MP. So, what have you heard back from him? Has he got any results? Has he got anywhere with any of it?
I haven't heard back from him directly, but indirectly, I have heard from the owner of the school whose insurance was due to expire on Tuesday, and it's been modified. He had some contact with Ian Paisley, and Ian assured him that he's on it and that he's not letting it go away easily, and was quite pleased to hear that there was a semi favourable outcome. Ian has been in touch and talking with and pressuring the British Insurers Bureau, or the Bureau of British Insurance Association, BIBA. I can't remember what it stands for, and the ABI. Now, I had been in touch with the ABI, and I had also been tried to be in touch directly with one of the insurers. The other insurer is called NGI, a company. I'm not familiar with their name, but they're one of the big underwriters. And they refused to talk to me. The ABI did talk to me. At the time, I felt they weren't being awfully helpful. But as it turns out, they and the BIBA seem to have put pressure on the insurers, as well as, again, I hear third hand that Lloyd's of London have had a word and basically said that you can't just leave people high and dry like this, and they're getting a bit worried because it's becoming politically a little hot, and that Ian Paisley and Steve Baker, have made it known that they will be raising the issue in Parliament. So they don't want that, obviously. But also, the owner of the motorcycle school, in his direct complaint, and also the owner of the one that closed down, in his direct complaint, he made a direct complaint to the insurance industry and to the Financial Conduct Authority. And he claimed that basically motorcycle training schools in Northern Ireland were being actively discriminated against simply because of where we're located. And they didn't like that accusation. But as far as I'm concerned, if the shoe fits, you know.
That's it. Like I say, at the end of the day, we can't risk avoiding upsetting people when we want to get a result. I mean, it's clear that the potential impact for these actions is quite significant. So it's only right that we run the risk of upsetting a few people, treading on a few toes.
I had also been in contact with Motorcycle News, with the reporter in Motorcycle News, who then contacted affected individuals separately. And he has written a couple of articles for Motorcycle News highlighting the situation. In fact, I got this week's issue of it, and their star letter on their letters page is from someone, talking about it and basically saying what we have both said today, that this is going to kill motorcycling in an entire region in the UK, because as motorcycle training schools have to close down, then where do people go? And indeed, I've learnt of one motorcycle training school, a one-man band in County Tyrone in the town of Omagh, and he is facing the same situation in that he is about to retire, but wanted to sell the business, but can't sell the business because it won't get reinsured. So when he closes, anyone who lives in Omagh, in the Omagh area, they'll have to go to Londonderry to find a motorcycle instructor. Yeah, and like Northern Ireland, with a great deep tradition of motorcycle sport, motorcycle racing, could end up losing motorcycling as a form of transport, as a leisure activity.
So what about next steps? Where do you see this going? What is there anything more that can be done to help resolve this situation, or is there anything that other MAG members could do to help?
Well, something MAG members can do to help, which is something I actually put up a post on the Northern Ireland branch Facebook page, is to try to think carefully when you're buying insurance, not just for your motorbike, but for any insurance. And if possible, try to avoid buying insurance from Allianz as an underwriter. And NIG is the other main underwriter who have pulled the plug on us. Now, that's maybe not just as easy as I may make out, but if members could possibly, when they're buying insurance, just ask the broker, who's the underwriter? And they're entitled to know who the underwriter is. And if it's Allianz, and just ask, can you give me a similarly competitive quote from a different underwriter for whatever insurance? That's something we can do. Something else we can do as an organisation is to maintain and, in fact, increase the pressure. Now, this little breakthrough that we've had with the modifying of terms for the other local riding school, I think is a wedge that we can use to push that door wider in the short to medium term. So once this training school gets their insurance re-established, and once they realign their business to suit the insurance, then I think and the owner is actually quite willing to do this, to use that little wedge and to try to maintain or increase pressure and get them to, at the very least, extend similar consideration to every other customer here. Write a letter of complaint to the Association of British Insurers and the British Insurance Brokers Association. Just write and complain about this situation. And if letters come in from far and wide across the kingdom, maybe they take note and write to your MP, write to them and explain. And a tip, if it's needed for writing to elected representatives, is to write your letter and then read it, or get someone who doesn't completely understand the situation to read it, and keep rewriting it until it's nice and concise and it's logical, it's factual, that most of the emotion is taken out of it. But keep it to a page at most, 4 paragraphs perhaps. Just get straight to the point. Don't ramble, don't wander.
Well, that's it. Yeah, like I say, it is easy to sort of like say, well, that's a Northern Ireland problem, therefore why should I care? But the reality is that if it happens in Northern Ireland, it can happen anywhere else, isn't it? It's not about saying that this is being done deliberately. It's saying, well, this is what the impact is going to be. Whether it's intentional or not is irrelevant. We don't want to see that impact.
No, it's a commercial decision, and although I oppose it, I respect the commercial decision. We can't make an insurance company give us insurance, uh, but the law requires that we have insurance. So there needs to be some give and take. There needs to be some common ground, and perhaps even the government needs to intervene and say, you should be providing cover under reasonable terms. Uh, you know, and I mean, insurance companies are in the business of taking risks. So what's the point of an insurance company who doesn't want to take a risk?
That's it. Right. Okay. Well, that's probably all that we've got time for. We're keen to make sure that these podcasts are meeting the requirements of our audience. So one of the comments is to keep it relatively tight and not to ramble on too long. So hopefully we haven't bored you all, and we look forward to seeing you all on the next edition of the Mag Network podcast.